He was born into one of the strongest families, but unfortunately he was born without any power. Because of this, the other powerhouses considered him useless. His life changed when he was summoned to another world to defeat the Demon King. After completing that mission, he was sent back to his original world, this time with his powers. Now that he is overpowered, what do you think his family's reaction would be? Before I spoil too much of the fun, let's start the story. A man named Shinya asks Akane whether he has fulfilled his duty and can now return to his old world. The Kami affirm it, adding that it would be an issue if he stayed in this world. Doesn't this Kami make it sound like Shinya's very existence is dangerous? Well, he knew it himself, didn't he? Whatever's inside of him shouldn't remain in here. Still, they were truly grateful to Shinya, the guardian. Meanwhile, a girl was huffing for air, and her right arm was injured while facing a monster. This is bad. The situation is getting worse and worse. She never thought there would be two Tsuchigumo. Though the sneak attack on her companion really threw her off, this was still a huge mistake. A powerful demonic poison. It hurts like hell, but losing all feeling in her arms is even worse. She can't even lift a sword. Half her spirit power is going towards purifying the poison. Even her attacks are weaker, and she doubts she can fully purify it on her own. Since her companion ended up like that, she can't expect any help from them. She needs to do something. She saw the spider web and noticed there were so many eggs. Are all those humans? It's food, huh? So the recent disappearance really was the work of these Tsuchigumo. Unfortunately for this monster, she doesn't plan on getting eaten. She threw a paper talisman, burning the monster. As she thinks she did it, the monster made some sounds and slowly emerged from the flame, attacking her. She tried to block it but was still thrown away and fell to the ground. This is no good. Her vision is going blurry. She needs to move. She can't die in a place like this. To her surprise, our MC shows up mumbling to himself, asking the Kami why it sent him back home in such a weird place. His uniform was exactly the same. It was torn to shreds back then, but now it looks brand new. He means nice bonus and all, but still he can't say the same for that. When the girl instructed him to run away, he face-palmed, thinking it was trouble the second he got back. Is he cursed or something? This is annoying. The monster spat web at him, but with his talisman that activated the barrier, it was nothing. Such a weak attack won't get through his spirit barrier. The monster swiftly rushes at him. He avoided it and went near the girl, asking if she was okay. The girl was amazed he was so fast. Is he an exorcist too? Well, she could say that. But how is she holding up? Can she still fight? She wasn't in good condition because the Tsuchigumo didn't just poison her, it tackled her full force as well. The monster sneaked an attack, but he managed to summon a talisman to block it. The girl has never seen a talisman like that before and wonders who this guy is. He was incredible. She can't believe he is actually blocking every single one of the Tsuchigumo's attacks. She wondered how many exorcists could pull off a defensive technique strong enough not to break under that full attack. Well, it's the only thing Shinya could do after all. Unfortunately, he can't use any offensive spirit arts. The other one, the corpse over there, she can take it down, right? In perfect condition she can, but now it is impossible. He used a talisman to grant her full recovery and instructed her to hang in there because it would only take a moment. A shining bright light engulfed her body, and in an instant the pain was gone, even the poison. Now Shinya will leave the killing to her. She has got a score to settle, don't she? The girl agreed and thanked him. The monster attacks, but she swiftly rushes to counter its attack using the 6 flowers and the waterfall. The monster was cut into 2, and with that the battle ended. Huffing for air, she thanked him for saving her. Shinya waved his hand, agreeing. She can take care of the rest. Before he left, the girl stopped him. She can tell he is quite a high-ranking exorcist and asked for his name. His name, huh? There is no problem telling it, but isn't it rude to ask someone for their name without giving your name first? She apologized and introduced herself as Kyugoku Nagisa. Kyugoku? As in the most powerful of the 6 families? Well, it is, though she doesn't really like being called that. He apologized for that, but she doesn't mind. Can he tell his name now? He is Hashimori Shinya. Since she is a Kyugoku, she knows of him, right? The failure born to the Hashimori family. She froze and couldn't answer. Fighters descended from ancient diviners who used their powers to exorcise evil spirits or demons were called exorcists. Even today, their bloodlines are established throughout Japan. Among them are 6 especially powerful sections. They are called the 6 families. Each name represents excellence in spirit arts. The most powerful, gifted with aptitude for all spirit arts, are the Kyugoku, her family. However, among those families, one stands above the rest and is hailed as the strongest of all, the Hashimori family. 15 years ago, twin brothers were born to the Hashimori. The older brother was born with more spirit power than any exorcist there is. He had an aptitude for all spirit arts. By the time he was 12, he had grown strong enough to surpass first-rate exorcists. On the other hand, the younger brother was born with the tiniest fraction of spirit power imaginable. Worst of all, he only had aptitude for supporting spirits arts and couldn't use any offensive ones. He was born with a defect preventing him from releasing his spirit power outside his body. Though a legitimate Hashimori, he couldn't learn the secret technique that earned them their fearsome reputation. Thus, his family, and by extension the entire exorcist community, branded the boy with disgraceful and derogatory titles. Useless, defective, all talents went to his brother, failure, and so on. But if he can use such powerful techniques as he did now, then he shouldn't be called a failure, right? Before answering, Shinya recalled that the reason he could use such powerful techniques now was that he had gone to another world. In that world he faced death every day but survived. The kami praised him for doing a great job. He fulfilled his duty and helped the hero destroy the demon lord. The kami thanked him, the guardian from another world. It's been 5 years in that fantasy world where the demon lord ran rampant. Sounds long, but it felt short. Alongside the hero with a divine errand and his companions, they survived countless near-death experiences, and they finally succeeded. The kami was reluctant to forcefully bring an otherworlder here and make him fight for them, but if he hadn't, this world would have been destroyed by now. Since he had fulfilled his duty, the kami permitted him to return to his original world. It would be a problem if he stayed in this world, and what is inside him shouldn't remain in this world. Well, Shinya doesn't care as long as he gets back home. He has no place to call home here, and those guys will do just fine on their own. Additionally, there is no rice in this place. The kami offers a little service. He will send Shinya 5 minutes after he disappears from his original world. He will also make his body young again. Shinya was grateful, but what about his power? Well, he will grow a little weaker as he gets younger, and the being inside of him should be weaker in the other world. It was fine for Shinya. He can always train again. Honestly, Shinya used to be shy and useless, but just as Kami planned, he grew into a great guardian for the hero. They were truly grateful to him. Shinya knew that he was just thinking that being thanked by a Kami is pretty rare. The kami gets irritated, he is always rude. Any kami but him would have smited him by now, though he guesses Shinya blocks it easily now. Whatever, he can laugh that off. Now Shinya must hurry back to his world because he is busy. He made a peace sign and wished him good luck. At present, he told Nagisa that he doesn't really care about his reputation or what other people say. If he argued with every single person over it, he wouldn't last. And most of all, he is no longer the old him. That 5-year journey. His time spent in the other world has made him stronger. Most of all, he is not interested. He can say it now and he means it. Nagisa mutters his name in silence and asks if she should keep it secret. He wants her to tell everyone she defeated the Tsuchigumo on her own, right? But why? Well, it was because she is a Kyugoku and he was the failure of the Hashimori. Besides, someone of her status shouldn't be saved by someone like him. He noticed her expression and wondered why she was angry again. Nagisa was just concerned that telling the truth might repair his reputation a little. Shinya doesn't think this will make the slightest dent in his reputation, and he doesn't want her to repay him for saving her. Just keeping quiet was enough. He didn't save her for some reward, he just did what he felt like doing. She doesn't need to worry about repaying him because he doesn't need it. If she was wondering why he was here, it was just a pure chance. A complete coincidence. Nagisa heaved a heavy sigh before agreeing. She will report this incident as he asked. She won't question him either. Shinya agreed and told her he needed to go. But can she clean up the nest by herself? And what will she do about the person hanging in the tree? She can do it all, so he must not worry. She was grateful to him. Shinya reminded her that she doesn't need to do it. If she wants to thank someone, thank Kami instead. That's actually more correct. What does he mean by that? She looked at him as he left, muttering his name and blushing as she thought he hadn't changed. Meanwhile, a man named Yashiro cornered a man and felt like he was bullying weaklings. The guy called him a bastard, telling him not to get full of himself. What is that? Is that a new gang? Whatever. Could he show Yashiro to them? To tell the truth, he was actually looking for people like him. Scum of society that they can do whatever they want without hesitation, guilt, or sympathy. He lifted the guy up, telling him the boss is recruiting him. Speaking of the boss, he arrived, stopping Yashiro for what he was doing. The boss just came because he heard Yashiro was acting on his own. But didn't the boss say it himself that they should gather a lot of people for sacrifices? He said so, right? He then releases his aura, prompting the boss to grow serious and slowly walk towards him. He has put a barrier so that even if he screams, nobody will come. Does Yashiro think he can scare him with his pitiful bloodlust? Yashiro smirked, agreeing with the boss and telling him he liked that side of him, though he doesn't mind if he uses trash like this guy. The boss informed him that they have plenty of valuable sacrifices and instructed Yashiro to tell him before he does anything, so he can help him. What? So he wants to supervise Yashiro? He smiles and thanks the boss. He will do so next time then. He apologized to the guy, telling him this is how it works. Besides, he has done some pretty nasty stuff to people himself, right? Just think of this as karma coming back to him. They were going to Anbais. While the guy shook in fear, the boss told Yashiro they needed 108 sacrifices. It will be a pain to gather so many in Japan, but it is necessary. Soon, the curtain of revenge will rise. He will eradicate them all. Meanwhile, Shinya was facing another monster. It's only his first day back, yet trouble comes one after another. Come to think of it, a woman says about this. According to that fortune-telling witch, he attracts trouble like a magnet. A long time ago, when the border between the human world and the realm of darkness was blurred and thin, special beings who exorcised the darkness, the Onmyoji, existed. For ages, they read the stars and divine fortunes to protect humanity. But as time passed and the war against the darkness intensified, a new group emerged. They specialized in combat. With the rise of the exorcists, the Onmyoji began to fade from history. Meanwhile, the exorcist who had conquered the darkness entered their golden age. As a gust of wind blew into the air, the police were inspecting the area. They thought there were no survivors and did not expect them to survive after being stored as live food for egg-laying. After telling what happened and thanking them for their cooperation, Nagisa turned around to make a call. One of the officers recognized that she was the young lady of the Kyugoku family, one of the 6 houses. His companion agreed, telling him, "She may look like a normal girl, but they say she's a specialist at hunting yokai." Nagisa reported to the person on the other line that the mission was complete. Damage is within acceptable parameters and there are no casualties. However, one of her companions was injured. Fortunately, the injuries are minor. He should be able to return to duty soon. The person on the other line heard he was a promising newcomer, but he guesses that's all you can expect from a branch family. They will handle things on their end and she can leave cleaning up to Kiyotaka. She is to take on a different case. Nagisa inquires how she should handle the handover, and the person on the other line responds that a verbal report will suffice. She will file the paperwork and the details on the next case will be sent later. After she responded in understanding, the call ended. It is the same as always. Once again, not a single word of thanks or praise. No matter how many missions she completes to her father, it's just what's expected. And this accomplishment too will be credited to her brother, the next head of the family. About Shinya, it was for the best that she kept it a secret, but she really wanted to at least give him a proper thank you. She can't believe she was so flustered that she didn't even ask for his contact info. Seeing him again and being saved by him, she guessed she'd just been swept up in the moment. She didn't even recognize him until he told her his name, but she will never forget what happened on that day. She was such an idiot. Why is she so useless? Seeing her acting like a monkey, the police officer inquired if she was okay. Embarrassed, she stood up, wondering where he lives around here. She doesn't even know that much, but even so, she does have a way of finding him. She took out a talisman and ordered her familiar Lord of the White Wings to reveal itself. She has a simple request of the bird, to follow Shinya's spiritual power. After all, a debt must be repaid and she has to do this right away. The bird understood how she felt and flew away when Nagisa instructed her to track Shinya down. Now what should she get to thank him? It would be rude not to go in person. Plus, she has to consider his schedule. She looked at the sky, smiling as she felt excited. Meanwhile, our MC was having a good battle against the food. After 5 years without eating rice, he wondered if it was real and ordered another jumbo serving. He can't believe he lost his cool over rice after all this time. The miso soup is good as well. Japanese people really need their rice. It sucks they didn't have any in the other world. Recalling his comrades in the other world, he was certain they would lose their minds if they tasted this. He was stuffed but still ended up walking pretty far away. That Kami just sent Shinya back wherever he wanted. Well, if he had ended up overseas, he would have been totally lost. Still, he believed it was Kami's fault. He looked at his hand, realizing his physical abilities really dropped. However, they were still higher than before he was summoned. His spiritual power is pretty much the same as it was in the other world. He was able to test all that out on the evil spirit he ran into earlier, and it seems he can still use all the spirit arts he learned. Physical enhancement, defense, barriers, purification, and even active concealment have no problem. And his emission type abilities are as crappy as ever. Like attack skills, it would be a huge help if he could just convert his spiritual power into different elements. Guess you can't have what you don't have. He has to be grateful for what he has got. The spirit talisman he got in the other world. Just having these makes a huge difference. Well, as for how much he can do with them, he can just test everything out bit by bit. He no longer has to blame his circumstances like he used to. He has plenty of time. After all, he gets to start over from the age of 15. He has gained power, gained extensive battlefield experience, and learned to accept himself. He was finally free and it was time to head home and get some sleep. Meanwhile, Nagisa stood frozen as the bird reported her failure to find Shinya. Shinya meets trusted companions in his journey to defeat the Demon King. At that time, in that moment, they obtained a power beyond all imagination. But a power that great is nothing but abnormal to this world. And as someone who was summoned to it, he was already abnormal to begin with. There was no longer a place for him there, but he felt bad because he just vanished without a proper send-off. The sun rose, and when he woke up, he lifted his arm and mumbled that the rest is in your hands. He went to the balcony, looked around, and realized this was the first morning he had seen in 5 years. Maybe he will get a burger today? With fries, a shake, and nuggets. Someone knocked on his door, which made him wonder who it was this early in the morning. What a pain. He almost fell when the knock became louder and grasped that it was her. He opened the door and marveled if she was a child. The girl named Akane told him he was late. She came all this way for him, so he must get out now. What does she mean all this way? Her room is right next door. Akane told him not to sweat the details. He was sleeping way too late for a Saturday. It is his day off and time is important. He was going to hang out with her because the kind and gracious Akane was offering to train him. She was the greatest prodigy of the Hino clan. Shinya closed the door, telling her he wasn't interested. Akane almost destroyed the door by knocking, ordering him to open it up because he was getting a training session with a beautiful girl like her, plus a bonus yokai hunt. What the meow is even that? Also, she must stop calling herself beautiful. What a cringe. Hino Akane, one of the 6 houses. She's the young lady of the Hino clan, but it must be one of those inseparable bonds. She's always bugging him about something. As you can see, she's a bit of a handful, but she's still one of the top practitioners in her clan. Being of mixed race, it's true she's beautiful. She doesn't treat a failure like him any differently. She's a good person at heart. Almost in tears, Akane questions whether he will really keep ignoring her. Things are going to get really bad. Is he okay with that? For some reason, Akane gets timid if Shinya keeps ignoring her. Besides, this yokai hunt is probably her way of looking out for him. It's his day off, but this is the first time she's been this pushy in 5 years. Shinya opened the door, telling the lady not to pout. He was going to get ready, so she had to wait in her own room. Believing he was trying to run away after getting her hopes up, she decided to just wait in his room until he was ready. However, Shinya shut the door again. Akane questioned if there was something he didn't want her to see, like a dirty book, and told him she would spread rumors that he had tons of dirty books if he didn't let her in. Left with no choice, Shinya let her in to check it for herself that he hadn't any. Akane tried to search under the bed but found nothing. Unbeknownst to her, that kind of stuff is all on his PC. Even if she snooped, she'd be blocked by layers of passwords and locks. She can never break through them. Posing like a flirty, blushing girl, Akane asks if he just goes after any girl he can get his hands on. Furious, Shinya inquired how desperate she was to ruin his reputation. Terrified, Akane told him not to look at her like that, adding that he seemed different from usual. His presence feels calmer. It is as if her father or her uncle. Until yesterday, she wouldn't have felt a thing if he glared at her. But just now, she felt this incredible pressure. Shinya wonders if she felt a difference in their power, and from his perspective, Akane is still just a kid. These past 5 years were no joke. His mental age is that of an adult after all. When he thinks of it like that, even her weird behavior is kind of cute. Seeing his face, Akane asks why he is making that gentle, smiling face. It's kinda creepy. Shinya was about to get ready and question why she was on his bed. Well, she will just chill here while she waits, so he must hurry up and go. It's been a while since she has been in Shinya's room. She hugged the pillow and turned red upon smelling that it smelled like Shinya. Since she showed up suddenly, she wonders if he is mad at her. Maybe she was a little too forceful this time. But since yesterday, a bad feeling has been trying to tell her something. And it's about Shinya. She doesn't know what it is, but something about him feels different than usual. It's like she feels even safer around him than usual. It's somehow comforting. Comforting? What is she even thinking? Anyway, enough about that because today is the day. If he gains experience and a good track record, he will gain confidence. He is a Hashimori, so she knows he can get stronger. Once that happens, everyone else will have to acknowledge him. She needs him to get stronger or else she will be the one in trouble. Shinya approached her, asking what she was muttering about. She is so noisy even when she is by herself. Akane just looked at him with lovely eyes, thinking that it was fine. Her unease hasn't gone away, but she feels like if she sticks with him, she will figure something out. Her intuition is usually right. With that, they left the apartment. After 2 hours of moving by train and bus, they finally arrived at their destination. Akane stretched her arm, saying that it was a perfect day for an exorcism. Shinya guesses a sunny day isn't great for yokai and asks Akane to brief him. About the case, it was a boar-type lower-rank yokai. It roams around the mountain every night, running through fields and attacking livestock. It's a yokai that will break out of any trap or cage and go on a rampage. It may be a mid-rank, but the request came to her because she can handle it. And she was dumping it all on Shinya, right? Well, it is for experience. Besides, she will back him up. That's right. As long as he builds a track record, even if his abilities are lacking, he can make a name for himself as an attendant or rear guard. And with a good word from her father, he will be able to make it as an exorcist. This is the Shinya development plan, the Midnight Project. She told him with confidence just to be bold and go all out, exorcising whatever he wants. Shinya told her it sounds kind of dumb. Come to think of it, she has been doing stuff like this for ages. Really? That long ago? Isn't it just the other day? Anyway, they will find the yokai on foot, searching this entire mountain. Her search type arts aren't great and they can't use them at all. However, she had a map so they could do it in the old way. Also, maybe they could try luring it out by releasing some spiritual power. Apparently, her spiritual power is like a delicacy to yokai. It seems to be active at night, but if it smells something this good, it will probably come out even during the day. Shinya guesses so. He will have to count on her yokai attracting spiritual power. Lower-ranking yokai was perfect for testing his power. And one way or another, Akane and he know each other well enough. Things shouldn't go wrong as long as he doesn't unleash that power. They continue searching, and as he thinks he has really come back, he recalls the battles in the other world. The last few moments in particular were he incredibly fierce. One fierce battle after another, with no clear lines between friends and foes. In the final battle, death was everywhere. Their hero party's assault on the Demon King's castle, the large-scale diversionary tactics it required, and the total forces deployed by humanity's side made him wonder how many warriors could have possibly survived. Seeing him spacing out, Akane instructed him to keep going. She thinks that, for another exorcist, Shinya got a real murderous aura. By the way, no one takes this case except them, since it was a direct request from her family. She hasn't heard anything about collaborators. A man with eyeglasses stares down at them from above the cliff, asking what they are doing here. He then notices Shinya, the failure from the Hashimori clan. The man was not alone, he was in a group. The man asked if the two were on a friendly hike. Akane blushes for a moment before asking his identity. The man-comrade was confused at her question, wondering if she really didn't know the man. Akane could see he had the look of an exorcist and questioned if he had no idea who she was. The Hino clan. The man knew that clan, which was precisely why he asked what they were doing here. Akane informed him they were hunting yokai and asked what he was doing on their client's land. Also, he must introduce himself first. Irritated, the man adjusted his eyeglasses, wondering whether she didn't really know who he was. Shinya held his laughter when she responded that she never seen him in her whole life. The man pointed at the failure of Hashimori, asking how dare he laugh at him. Shinya smirked, apologizing because he couldn't help it. Akane wondered if he knew them, and he answered that a little, from way back. But shouldn't Akane at least try to remember the other heirs of the 6 houses? While the others tried to calm the young master, Akane thought about which family this guy was from. Shinya knows the Hino don't get along with their house and rarely associate, but surely they have met at the clan gatherings, right? This guy was the master of the cycling stream, Mizunami Ryuki, one of the 6 houses and the next head of the water-wielding Mizunami family. Akane finally remembers and apologizes because she is bad with stuff. She usually leaves all the formal clan gatherings to her uncle and cousins, so she doesn't really attend them herself. Well, that shows what she's made of. To think she would associate with a Hashimori failure. While Shinya laughed, Akane ordered him to repeat what he said. But why is Shinya laughing? Whose side is he really on? Doesn't he know Ryuki was making fun of him? Ryuki advises her not to waste her breath on someone like him. His spiritual power is low, and he even failed the secret art that defines the Hashimori. If that's not a failure, what is? By the way, the secret art of Hashimori is a ritual to summon aberrant beings from another world and bind them in a pact as a guardian spirit beast. It is said that no sorcerer will ever surpass him. The great Onmyoji Abe no Saimai, who commanded the 12 powerful Shikigami known as the Divine Generals. The Hashimori have inherited this special power to forge pacts with Shikigami. A typical exorcist can only form a pact with a Shikigami weaker than or equal to themselves. In contrast, this secret art has no upper limit on the power of being you can form a pact with. It allows the user to command a spirit beast that far surpasses their own strength. That is the reason the Hashimori are hailed as the strongest. And yet, Hashimori Shinya couldn't even summon a beast, let alone form a pact. Ryuki heard all about it. A failure in the direct Hashimori line is unprecedented. Akane warned him not to insult Shinya, but Ryuki clarified it was the truth, adding that what truly matters for an exorcist is innate talent and overwhelming spiritual power. Someone with none of those qualities is just going to get themselves killed sooner or later. So if anything, it would be a kindness to put Shinya out of his misery. Akane was about to explode, but Shinya stopped her. Akane asked if he was just going to take that, but Shinya didn't really care and tried to calm her down. On the other hand, Ryuki, who believes an exorcist must be strong, stated that he will never acknowledge Shinya. A powerless exorcist is completely useless. That was cold, but he was right. Ryuki called him a defective waste of space, adding that just watching him scurry around makes him sick. They will handle the yokai on this mountain, so Shinya must get lost. Akane shouted at him, making it clear that they were here on an official request. This is the property of the Hino clan's client, so Ryuki must be the one to leave. Shinya agreed with her. Besides, Ryuki still hasn't answered his question. What is he doing here? It has nothing to do with you. Is that what Ryuki was going to say? Is that why he can't answer? Which means this is some kind of messy business for the Mizunami clan. Furious, Ryuki glared at him intensely, warning him that curiosity can be a dangerous thing. Akane pointed out that Ryuki was the one trespassing here. If he wants, she can file a formal protest from the Hino clan to the Mizunami clan. Realizing a conflict between the houses would be bad, Ryuki clicked his tongue. He turned to his comrade, telling them they would leave now since they had wasted enough time here. However, Akane wanted him to explain themselves. Ryuki was about to argue when they suddenly felt something. Something was coming. The earth shook, and in a matter of seconds the trees were destroyed, revealing a huge monster that attacked them, smashing the ground. Is it a demon? The beast roared, creating a strong gust of wind. After Ryuki questions if it senses their presence, which is why it reveals itself, Shinya understands the situation. The Mizunami clan's objective was this demon. It probably escaped from a seal under their jurisdiction. But this is strange. The demon power, even if Ryuki is an elite, isn't this too much for him and his retainers? Ryuki couldn't believe the situation he was in now because the red-faced demon was supposed to be a mid-tier high-rank demon. But how could it grow to the highest rank in such a short time? This goes beyond their expectations. While mid-rank requires 2 standard exorcists and high rank requires 10 standard exorcists, the highest rank requires multiple elite exorcists. Normally, there are several ways a yokai can grow, but none of them allow for such rapid development in a short period. Ryuki's comrade suggested he must retreat, but Ryuki didn't want to allow this monster to roam free. He attacks using the Blade of Blackwater, declaring he will destroy it here and now no matter what. He managed to land a hit, but it had no effect. It hasn't even received any damage. While his comrade shielded him and prepared to attack, Ryuki activated the weapon manifestation, the spirit armament manifestation, a secret art used by the 6 houses to materialize their clan's symbolic elemental spiritual power into a weapon. An exceedingly high-level spirit art that can only be performed by those with immense spiritual power and the talent to wield it. While his comrade couldn't scratch the demon using their skills, Ryuki rushed using the cycling Stream King's whip, hitting the monster. Akane was amazed that he could use spirit armament manifestation, but felt ashamed because it couldn't defeat the demon. Though he is an arrogant bastard, she was not going to stand there and watch him get killed. For a second, the way Akane smiled reminded Shinya of his comrades in the other world. He agreed with her and advised her to be careful. Akane's mother was half British, so she was a quarter. Not that it's all that rare these days, but in a traditional exorcist family from one of the 6 houses, she guessed she stood out a bit. As a child, she was the perfect target for every annoying busybodies. Shinya was there to protect her. He was a good-for-nothing back then, so he got beaten to a pulp, but that doesn't matter. At present, Akane activated the Spirit Armament manifestation, the Spirit Armament art to summon Shurei, her weapon. He rushes to attack, thinking this demon is too much for Shinya to handle, so she has to do this. She struck her spear at the beast, making it roar in pain. How is that? The taste of her spear and its flames? When she pulled out her weapon, Ryuki's team was in awe that she could use spirit armament as well, and it worked against the demon. The flame spear Shurei was the embodiment of Akane, one of the few who can wield a spirit armament, a powerful partner that channels violent flames. In terms of sheer destructive power, it might even surpass Mizunami Ryuki's. Ryuki told her not to interfere with his prey. Akane told him he can't handle it on his own. He needs to look at the situation and use his head, otherwise he will die. Ryuki agreed, but she must stay out of his way. Akane will do that. Trying to coordinate with him would be a nightmare anyway, so they will just do their own thing. Ryuki observes that her vibes have completely shifted from the ditzy girl she was a moment ago. She is getting on his nerves but still wants to see what the Hino are really made of. Akane cast a spell and then launched flame spirits at the enemy. Multiple flame weapons materialize in the air, hitting the demon. While the beast groaned in pain, Akane instructed the moron not to just stand there gawking. He must keep his distance and continue the attack. Irritated for ordering him, Ryuki told her not to tell him what to do and then attack alongside his comrades. The beast retaliates, but they dodge it and continue attacking. Akane leaps into the air and then releases her flames toward the monster. Its physical strength is incredible, but as long as they don't get close, they will overpower it just like this. Even if this demon was top rank, they've got 2 spirit armament wielders here. They just take their time and finish it off. From a distance, Shinya observes the battle and thinks it is getting bad. Something suddenly glimmered in the demon's forehead, and it roared at them. It releases immense demonic energy, a special grade. Come to think of it, Ryuki said it went from high rank to highest rank, which means it ranked up again all the way to special rank. She saw something in its forehead and wondered what it was. A jewel glowing black and purple? It is overflowing with demonic energy. While Ryuki's team panicked, confused about what was happening, the beast roared, shaking the ground around it. Akane creates a barrier to protect herself, and after that loud unholy roar, she drops her knee to the ground. Her barrier was destroyed by that insane shockwave with demonic energy. Still standing, Ryuki wondered if everyone was down except for the Hino girl. Realizing the seal was also broken, he thinks this is bad because the damage is going to spread. He cursed, asking why this could happen. He is the next head of the Mizunomu clan, a genius ranked among the top 5 in their entire history. He muttered some long spell to unleash his full power and then launched the waterfall dragon's roaring rupture towards the demon. With this Mizunami clan's ultimate spirit summoning ritual, he was certain he could defeat this monster, but to his shock, the demon managed to deflect his attack. As he was thrown due to the impact, he couldn't believe he would lose this badly. Akane prepared herself to fight, but after observing that the demonic energy was still growing stronger, she couldn't see any path to victory. No. If she gives up, it's over. That's the one thing she absolutely can't let happen. She then looks at Shinya and notices he has such a calm look on his face, even in a situation like this. He really does have guts. Did he pass out on his feet? It was the same back then too. He never backed down, even against opponents he knew he couldn't beat. With a strong heart, he protected the weak, young her. Shinya was the one who taught her what it means to have the courage to fight. She told Shinya she was the one who dragged him into this, so he at least had to get away. Even if she can't win, she will fight until the very end. And if this is how she dies, there's no way she was letting this thing devour her. Even if she has to blow herself up, she won't let some demon have her body. She instructed Shinya to get help from the Hino clan while she was holding this thing off. Alright, even if she dies here, the Hino patriarch and her father will take care of the rest. If only she had a little more time. These feelings she has kept bottled up since that day. Maybe she could have finally told him. How pathetic. If she confessed right before dying, it would only cause him pain. Either way, if she confessed, she knew she would end up regretting it. Yeah, this is for the best. An exorcist's life can end at any moment. That's why she has lived every single day with no regrets. The day she spent with Shinya was truly happy. That's why he is the one person she will absolutely protect. What a long, dramatic line that turns into a funny moment when she suddenly bumps into Shinya's barrier. Oh no, her nose. She hit something. Shinya stood before her, telling her it sounded like she stepped on a cat. While she was confused, sitting there looking at his talisman, Shinya told her they were switching out. Now it was Shinya's time. Just as he thought, there was something on the jewel on its forehead. Akane questioned why he didn't run. Shinya called her an idiot. Does she think he could just abandon her and run? She blushed after hearing that and wondered if there was something in his words. Shinya looked at her, asking if she was planning on dying. Akane denied it like a cat, adding that she just knew she probably couldn't win, so she was going to take it out with her in a final attack. That was her plan. Doesn't that sound like planning on dying? Irritated, Akane ordered him to shut up and inquire about those talismans. Well, it was his. He also healed Ryuki and his group, though they were still unconscious. He could have stepped in before they got hurt, but he figured she would be pissed if a dropout saved her, so he just watches from the sidelines. He healed Ryuki properly so she can spare Shinya from scolding. Also, he recast the barrier around the area. Now, no matter how much the demon rampages, the damage won't spread. What? When did he do all that? It was a little while ago when Ryuki unleashed that big attack. Shock, Akane questions how he can use such a powerful barrier technique. And what's more, the spiritual power she was sensing from him was on a completely different level. The monster tried to attack, but his barrier won't budge. However, Akane was swept away due to the impact. As the demon gathered energy, she asked if he just deflected Mizunami's ultimate attack. Shinya told her that 3 days is all it takes for a man to change. She should take a proper look at him. But Akane saw him yesterday and the day before that. Well, they must stop talking. She doesn't need to sweat the small stuff. Just leave the rest to him and make some tea or something. Knowing the demon reached a special rank, Akane asked if he was serious. Even she and Ryuki couldn't beat it. And he can't even use offensive techniques. Shinya admitted he was useless, and his talisman was not really suited for offense. But on how he will do it like this. He jumps into the air, punching the demon and then kicking it downward. With that, the demon kisses the ground with 2 moves, shocking Akane. He just hammers it with physical attacks infused with his spiritual power. Really? That simple? Just who really is he? The demon slowly got up, super angry. Well, it did get beaten up and tossed aside. Shinya would be more scared if it were smiling after all that. He smiled, excited to see how well he could fight back in this world. The beast attacked, but he jumped mid-air to avoid it. He then faced the creature, turned in a swift motion, and fought it head-on. Akane couldn't believe he was using a simple attack infused solely with spiritual power, yet had such a massive impact. It's true that even Shinya, who can't externally release his spiritual power, could use it to strengthen his body by focusing and circulating it. It could be an effective offensive method against demons, but even so, for attacks with that much destructive force, just how much spiritual power is he using? That power is the monster's logic. As he continued fighting, Shinya recalled that one of his comrades told him not to be fooled. No matter how big it is, if it's humanoid, its body structure isn't all that different. Read the moment and land a solid attack in the right spot, and the enemy will fall. It's the standard strategy in any fight. That's the principle of heaven and man. Shinya already expected it from the martial king. However, the hard part is that Shinya wasn't good with weapons to begin with. Irritated, Shinya told the sword saint not to judge him by her standard and told the hero to stop laughing. The martial king set aside his weapon skills and asked about his hand-to-hand combat instincts. Well, it was bad, so the martial king advised him to try really hard. At present, he was glad he listened to martial king's teaching. Akane approached him, eager to know what he just done. As he told her earlier, anyone can do it if they just infuse their attacks with spiritual power. Akane didn't believe it and asked who in the world he was. The demon suddenly stood up, gathering a huge amount of power in his palm. Anyway, in a party which is said to be the strongest in the other world, the title Shinya was given there was Guardian. He was a failure of an exorcist, but this is what he carved into his very being in the other world. He activated the Kami-forged spirit vessel, the 12-star spirit talismans, protection art. This thing is tough. If it thinks it can break through, then go ahead. The demon tried to attack but lost arms in the process, leaving the ugly Akane in awe. Phew, not bad. That was his Kami-forged spirit armament, the 12-star spirit talismans. A one-of-a-kind technique that he honed through countless battles. On top of that, he threw in a reflection, resulting in a perfect victory. He looks at his palm, glad he will be able to manage. Akane asks many questions, in disbelief that he completely crushed an enemy that a spirit armament user couldn't beat. With his bare hands, the demon suddenly moved and groaned, which made Akane panic, wondering if it powering up again. Shinya could see that something was clearly wrong with this thing and was certain that the cause was in its forehead. Still, he was ready to play this out to the end. The beast suddenly stopped, then went crazy, slowly growing weaker until it collapsed. All its demonic energy was disappearing. The monster became smaller than its original form, and when the thing in its head shattered, Akane wondered if it was out of power. Now that the beast turned into dust, she was certain it was finally over. But what in the world was that? The jewel on its forehead was most likely the cause. Its body couldn't handle the recoil from such a forced, rapid power-up. About the jewel, he doesn't know about it, but according to Ryuki, that demon was originally only of a high rank. But in such a short span, it got a double promotion to the highest rank, then the special rank. Was it an amplification device to boost its demonic power, or maybe some cursed artifact that forces growth and evolution? It's all guesswork though, there's no proof left. The real question is, did that jewel belong to the demon? Because if it didn't, that means someone embedded it in him. But who? There's way too little information to know for sure, but there is one thing Shinya can tell her. Whoever did this is dangerously powerful. If this kind of thing starts happening everywhere, it will be more than just a threat to exorcists. Well, he is right, so she needs to report this to her father right away. Shinya agreed and plans to handle the Hashimori, but even if he does, he doubts they will believe it. It's iffy, and the explanation for everything is just so complicated. He got an idea. They will say the demon self-destructed, and that Akane bought enough time for it to happen. The Hashimori will accept that. Does he want her to steal his credit? He must not say such stupid things. And another thing, he needs to properly explain himself to her. To calm her down, Shinya agreed. He will explain everything, but for now, things will go much more smoothly if they let her take the credit. Besides, that Mizunami guy didn't see him fight. No one would believe the truth anyway, would they? Did he plan it that way? Akane knew it, but why? He has to show everyone his true power. This is his chance to make every last person who looked down on him eat their words, to show them just how strong he has really become. Too bad, because Shinya will not do that. When asked if it doesn't bother him at all, he asks if he should stoop to their pathetic level. As if he would ever do something pathetic. That is not what Akane meant. Now that he is this strong, he doesn't have to be afraid of anyone, does he? Did he do something dishonest to get this power? In response, he told her that it's not like he gained this power through some shameful means he can't tell anyone about. Although he seriously doubts anyone would believe him if he did tell them. Even if they are exorcists who deal with the supernatural. Summoned to another world, a 5-year journey alongside heroes, a power forged through all those days and months, and after achieving the long-held goal of vanquishing the Demon King, he returned. And on top of it all, Akame made him 5 years younger and only 5 minutes had passed back home. If he heard that kind of story, he would respond, "Are you out of your mind?" He is positive he would just look at them with pity if Akane were the one saying it. He scratches the back of his head and tells Akane he will explain everything later. Well, he'd better do that. He was thinking, so annoying, wasn't he? Shinya will take down the barrier and instruct Akane to keep her guard up because they are being watched. It is part of the reason he didn't join the battle. He was looking for a chance to raise this barrier. They concluded that the guys watching them were most likely connected to the jewel. Akane thinks this is the perfect chance to capture them, but Shinya told her it would be difficult. They're expertly scattering their presence. It's someone who's a master at manipulating spirit energy, a real pro. Even while they're watching them, they haven't lowered their guard. It's more like they're a complete unknown. He doesn't know a thing about them, not even if they're human. He might be able to win, but there are just too many unknown factors. It's a shame to let them go, but for now they will act like they didn't notice them and let them go. Akane answers in the affirmative, thinking that they can't screw this up and give them intel on Shinya. She understands now that this is why it is better to keep his power a secret. When she told him she understood it now, Shinya put a talisman in her just in case. He has incorporated Injiojutsu into the Star Spirit talisman, so the enemy won't be able to see her. Casually busting out all these advanced techniques, Akane was really starting to wonder if he was the real Shinya. To prove it was really him, he told her the story when they first met. She was at the park when He didn't finish the story because Akane stopped him. He promised he would never tell anyone. Then how about the time they bumped into each other in the bath at her house? Embarrassed, she finally agreed without any doubt that he was Shinya. At the end, she ended up digging her own grave. Shinya felt relieved and advised her to be careful. They just stood there for a moment until the unknown individual left. Honestly, what is his deal? Well, he'd really rather not get involved in any more trouble. But it seems like even in this world he has got more work piling up for him. Meanwhile, a meeting was held in this hall to discuss the earlier fight against the demon. This is the Byakurendu, the White Lotus Hall. The 6 houses that stand at the pinnacle, the non-resident Hashimori, and an 8th temporary party of government VIPs and other outsiders. Collectively, this gathering is known as the Hakai Gugi, the 8 Realms Council. For this reason, this secret meeting chamber is an octagonal hall. It is also customary for the members of the Hakai Gugi to use Shikigami as proxies of themselves. One of the Shikigamu recalled that the red-faced demon was under the Mizunami clan's jurisdiction. Yet they were saved by Hino. They knew the Hino girl wasn't the one who defeated it, and even though the demon self-destructed, the Hino girl put up a valiant fight all by herself. The Shikigami frog agreed. He heard there was someone there who did nothing but watch. He looks at the representative of the Hashimori clan and asks if it isn't right. The Shikigami from Hashimori told him it makes no difference because he never held any expectations for that boy. He possesses no power to speak of in the first place. The frog chuckled. As expected, he is merciless even toward his own grandson. The Shikigami from the Hashimori get irritated and ask if the 6 houses assembled were merely for such pointless chatter. With that, they proceed to their main topic. Who is the enemy and what is their goal? A sinful cabal and a new power rising. Regardless, this recent incident was most likely still in the experimental phase. Tampering with a seal of the 6 houses is a clear act of provocation. They are being underestimated. Their intelligence is indeed limited, but the enemy's gambit is also their opportunity. However, the 6 houses hold the initiative. They must not allow them to get ahead of themselves. They will not be made fools of by the Ayakashi. They are the exorcists, destined to conquer the Ayakashi. Inside a church, a person named Jinga reported to the boss. The boss asked if Jinga was saying that in the middle of his observation, a powerful barrier was deployed. Jinga affirms it. He was unable to learn what transpired within it because of that barrier. All he could confirm was that the red-faced demon powered up twice during combat and the traces of its annihilation after the barrier was dispelled. Its body was likely unable to keep up with the rapid transformation, causing it to self-destruct. Jinga bowed his head deeply, apologizing for only bringing back such inconclusive intel. He was prepared to receive any punishment the boss deemed fit. Well, that won't be necessary. Not knowing the events that transpired is a slight issue, but the outcome was as the boss expected. Still, to think that even the body of a high-ranking demon couldn't withstand it. Jinga believed that with sufficient time, adaptation would not be difficult. The boss agreed. They will continue the experiment for a while longer. Regarding the exorcists, Jinga informed the boss that several were from the Mizunami clan, including the clan head's son. They all had some skill, but they were taken out in an instant. There were 2 others. One manifested a flame spirit armament, leading Jinga to believe she is from the Hino clan. As for the other, he was a boy around the same age as the Hino girl. Jinga sensed something odd about the quality of his spirit, but his spiritual power was so low that he might not even be an exorcist. Noticing the boss's silence, Jinga inquired if something was wrong. The boss waved his hand, dismissing it as a trivial matter. He must not pay any attention to that boy. Still, the boss admitted he acted too rashly. Never mind the Mizunami, but now the Hino clan is aware. Even so, cooperation among the 6 houses is impossible. And even if they did team up, he would just eliminate them all. But he thinks that if the Hashimori clan were to enter, it would prove somewhat troublesome. If they fought them, they wouldn't emerge unscathed, especially the current head, because her power, together with her guardian spirit beasts, is rumored to surpass even the special rank. If he underestimates her, even his own life will be at risk. Still, he believed that the probability of the Hashimori clan getting involved is practically 0. They may call themselves the pinnacle of the exorcist world, but the worthless pride and feuds of great houses will stand in the way. He doesn't know what they would do if they were on the verge of annihilation, but that won't happen easily. Nevertheless, he will be on his guard. Rokudu Jenna was never careless. He instructed Jinga to prepare itself because the time to declare war is fast approaching. With terror and despair, he will drag every last one of them down to hell, the Kyogoku clan. After defeating the demon, they also found and defeated the lower-ranked demon, which was their original objective, thus completing the request. A day had passed since then, yet Akane was still frustrated because those guys had just left without a proper apology or even a thank you. However, she was satisfied to see the frustrated look on Ryuki's face after she told him that Shinya was the one who healed them. She wondered what would happen if she told him Shinya was the one who overwhelmed the demon. Shinya sighs, telling her Ryuki wouldn't believe her. Akane cheerfully suggested showing it to Ryuki and then blushed as she honestly told Shinya he was so cool. That's why, as a reward, she will treat him to whatever he wants. Shinya wanted some sushi that doesn't come on a conveyor belt, but they don't have the budget for that. It's not that she doesn't have money. She makes a decent amount, but they have an allowance system at home and she was still just a student. Additionally, she has a lot of stuff she wants to buy this month. Shinya turned his head when Nagisa called him. A while later they were in this restaurant, sitting awkwardly. The place was expensive, so Shinya apologized for making Nagisa treat him. Nagisa, blushing, told him it was her way of thanking him for saving her when she was in danger. Pouting like a pig, Akane wondered what this was and who this woman was. She recalled that she said her name was Kyogoku Nagisa, a historical clan that boasts the largest faction among the 6 houses. They have many superior spiritualists, a renowned family with great fame as exorcists, and strong ties to the worlds of politics and finance. So why is a woman from a family like that with Shinya? She almost exploded when she realized Nagisa was her rival. Even so, she believed Shinya had noticed her already and thought that this Kyogoku was just a top-heavy wooden doll. And Shinya's just getting sucked in by the food. What the meow. The two of them look so chummy. Akane was supposed to be the one treating Shinya and getting closer to him today. She was supposed to be asking about the secret of his power, too. After hearing Nagisa say the day before yesterday was rough, Akane asked about it. Shinya revealed it was the same as yesterday, but he already asked Nagisa to keep it a secret. Nagisa was shocked to learn it also happened yesterday and thinks he must be exhausted. She was also saved from a crisis, and he even let her take the credit for it. Smiling like a maniac, Akane teases her by saying that someone from the Kyogoku clan took credit for work she didn't do. Nagisa agreed and informed her that he hadn't included Shinya in the report as requested. However, judging from their conversation earlier, she assumed Shinya also saved Akane. Well, that's right. He saved her life and it was the exact same situation. Since they were both in the same position, Nagisa suggested not discussing it with others. Does Nagisa know who she is? Well, Nagisa memorized the faces and names of everyone in the 6 houses. One must not be disrespectful to the other families. Shinya told Akane, this is how a normal person acts. She should at least try to remember her peers, especially since Ryuki was a walking ball of pride. They started bickering, which made Nagisa silent. Shinya dared to advise Akane, yet he didn't know who Nagisa was after all. Nagisa told him it was unavoidable. She holds a rather special position within her family. While she was permitted to use the Kyogoku name, she does not often appear in public. As for her, she was simply surprised that Akane, of the esteemed Hino clan, was associating with Shinya. She clarified that she wasn't looking down on Shinya and emphasized that his reputation among the 6 houses is also not high. So it is strange that Akane, a famed warrior of the Hino clan, is with him. Well, Akane just happened to know that Shinya was capable of. They even go on exorcisms together after all this time. Shinya was about to say that Akane just dragged him here, but Akane warned him not to say more than he had to. That's her own special plan, the M.N project. In any case, whatever she does with Shinya is none of Nagisa's business. Nagisa agreed and told Akane she had no right to complain about her either. Akane asks when she ever complained, but Nagisa could tell just by looking at her face. It's pathetic how she has puffed it up like a blowfish. Shinya told them to stop, and they did by apologizing to him. Nagisa thinks she was the one who was being pathetic and wondered what she was getting so worked up about. The server arrived, excusing herself to place their orders. Shinya turns to Nagisa, telling her he didn't expect to run into her in a place like this. Nagisa agreed. She forgot to ask for his contact information, so she was wondering how she could find him. As she thinks that this reunion felt so much like fate, Shinya shattered it by saying that he wasn't planning on giving her his contact information. It's not worth the hassle. An elite from Kyogoku keeping in touch with a dropout from Hashimori, nothing would come of it. Nagisa clenched her fist, asking why he and Hino could. Well, it's fine for Akane because she has her father's permission. Come to think of it, Shinya was surprised her father even permitted her. Well, it seems her father has his own ideas about it. Though in reality, it feels like he approves, and more like he's using Shinya for her own growth. But now, her father should be able to fully acknowledge Shinya's worth. If that happens, the Shinya development plan will move to phase 2. After taking a bite, Shinya felt good, wondering if sushi was always this good. He started to tear up and want to let his comrades from another world eat this as well. and then he will give them such a smug look. Whenever he feels something stir his heart like this, those guys are the first ones who come to his mind. A large part of his heart might still be in that other world. Seeing his reaction, Nagisa was glad he was enjoying it and suggested he eat his fill. Regarding his contact information, she thinks it was unfair that he could exchange it with Akane but not with her. Well, they were childhood friend after all. As for Nagisa, she wishes to connect with him not as a member of the Kyogoku clan but as an individual. She would like to form a friendly relationship with Shinya. That statement shocked Akane, loudly saying she was a bold girl. Isn't she just saying that because she plans on using Shinya in the end? Nagisa returned the accusation to her, which made Akane angry and led her to call her a wooden doll. Nagisa retaliates, telling her that she practically dragged Shinya along based on what he said earlier. Before she blames others, perhaps she should reflect on her own actions. Isn't Akane the one taking advantage of his kindness? The room suddenly became heavy when Shinya told them it was enough, adding that they were bothering the restaurant, the customer, and the sushi. The two couldn't believe his intimidating aura and wondered how a dropout could have such power. The two shookly apologized, but our MC was teary-eyed with the taste of sushi. The two look at each other with a mutual understanding. Akane has a few things she'd like to say, but she can't afford to make Shinya any angrier. Nagisa agreed, believing any more fighting would be pointless, though she still has a lot to say. Looking at the two with one eye, Shinya felt relief and wondered what they were getting so competitive about. He clarified that Akane wasn't using him. He doesn't really mind, and the cases she brings him are decent training. However, he thinks it would be weird not to exchange contacts at this point. Those words make Nagisa turn red, asking if it was real. Shinya agreed. He could tell she was not the type to misuse it. After thanking him with a lovely face, she told him she would like to properly visit him to express her gratitude, so she will contact him at a later date. Shinya told her that this once was fine, but she disagreed, slamming the table. A mere meal is not enough to repay the kindness she received. She will do everything she can. When asked if she wasn't from around here because of her uniform, Nagisa agreed. She was visiting the area on an errand today. Their meeting was really just a coincidence, and she asked if the two lived in this town. Akane affirms it with a smile, revealing that she and Shinya are neighbors. They also go to the same school. Seeing the two about to explode again, Shinya realized these two might be the worst possible match. They suddenly sensed demonic energy out of nowhere, so Nagisa stood up. Demons are beings that appear when the boundaries of the world are disturbed, but the dragon vein in this town is stable. It is possible someone is causing a spiritual distortion. She told the two to wait here, but Akane won't stay still because this is the town where they live. Shinya agreed, so they decided to go together. A short time earlier, after Yashiro defeated 100 people, the guy named Miroku Kyuji clapped, praising Yashiro for being the best. Just a little more and he will meet his quota. Frustrated, Yashiro shut him up and told him to work as well. But Kyuji was just here for support and will leave the whole thing to Yashiro. Yashiro was about to explode in anger, wanting to kill this guy. Kyuji suggested using cute girls for the precious sacrifice, believing it would be more glamorous. Besides, a girl's face twisted in terror and despair was the best. Also their voices, the sight of them desperately begging while they cry just gives him the chills. Yashiro told him to shut up. Kyuji asks if he was mad and recommends they play with a girl together next time. He was sure Yashiro would enjoy it as well. Yashiro punched the ground, reminding him to shut up. Kyuji recalled what Rokudo Jenna told him, that Yashiro Rihito has a clear objective. He's a man who keeps his word. So long as he doesn't break his pact with that guardian, he will never betray them. He possesses an icy resolve, willing to sacrifice even himself for his cause. But at his core he is a passionate man. He warns Kyuji not to provoke him. At present, Kyuji asks if it wasn't a contradiction, saying it's fine for those thugs but not for girls. Yashiro knew it wasn't right, but these guys are criminals at least. That's who he chose. They got what they deserve. Does that mean his conscience doesn't hurt? Well, Kyuji was the same. No matter how many girls he torments, his heart doesn't ache at all. And he chose them carefully. Girls who are just playing around or runaways. Dumb-looking girls, criminal types, but sometimes he plays with normal girls as well. Understanding they were cut from the same cloth, Yashiro gritted his teeth. Seeing he wasn't responding, Kyuji smirks. Maybe he should do his own work as well. It wasn't exactly an order from the boss, but there's a girl who needs a little punishment time. The thing is, his precious little Tsuchigumo was mercilessly killed. From naughty little larvae to magnificent adults, their love had finally blossomed, and they even laid some cute little eggs. They were going to grow their family bigger, overcome all sorts of hardship together, and they were supposed to enjoy a life full of happiness and many memories. Yashiro clenched his teeth, asking if he was an idiot. Anyway, the one who did it was the girl from the Kyogoku clan. When he told the boss said Kyuji could do whatever he wanted as long as they didn't find out about them. Yashiro knew that the boss had allowed that at a crucial time like this because he knew how sadistic Kyuji was. The boss's hatred for the Kyogoku is on another level. He doesn't like the Kyogoku clan, but he can't help but feel a little sorry for anyone who falls into Kyuji's hands. Kyoji invited him to come, believing it would be fun. Yashiro refused. If Kyuji messes with the likes of the Kyugoku, what will he do if they get their guard up? Well, it wasn't a crime if you didn't get caught, right? Besides, Kyuji was a master of covering his tracks. It's pretty common for students to go missing. Kyuji told him his pet will continue to keep an eye on him, but Yashiro responded that he will come with him. He knew this bastard would do anything to achieve his goal and was the type who wouldn't hesitate to drag innocent people into this. He clenched his fist, telling Shino to wait for him. No matter how stained his hands become, he will save Shino even if it means his own destruction. Finally, the three arrived at the place, the park. However, the demonic energy isn't moving. What Nagisa felt was the presence of a high-ranking yokai. The higher the rank, the lower the chance of it wandering here by accident. A high-ranking one likely appeared in their world of its own volition. She has already deployed a barrier around the park, so the concealment ward will keep anyone from wandering in. More importantly, preventing the yokai from escaping and preventing any harm to innocent people is their top priority. The yokai showed up, an Oiran mantis. Nagisa instructed the two to stay back, stating she would handle this. But before she could do so, Akane already manifested her weapon. Nagisa was shocked to learn she is a spirit armament user. She tried to tell Akane she would handle the monster, but Akane insisted on fighting it as a payment for the sushi she had given them. She rushed forward with confidence, delivered multiple strikes at the mantis, and then launched fire bullets. Nagisa was amazed. She dodged the attack and even used a flame spirit art. The flames of her spirit armament are still burning the severed parts. There is no chance she's not losing to a high-ranking yokai. Well, they did run into the hell of a demon yesterday. Compared to that, this thing is just small fry. He noticed something was up because the mantis kept looking in their direction. According to one theory, it's a habit of its species since it's female. To put it crudely, they eat the male after mating. Also, there are various other theories, like that it's the manifestation of the grudges of women who met a tragic end in the nightlife districts. Normally, it would appear in a place filled with love and hate. It indiscriminately drains multiple men of their life force, devours them once they are spent, and then finds a new man to repeat the cycle. The Oiran mantis, does it seek the desperate passion of a woman who wishes to bear a child? Learning that he was its target, Shinya ordered Akane to finish it quickly. The mantis talks, inviting Shinya to impregnate her right now. He must be honored that she will devour his flesh. Akane swung her weapon, telling the mantis she was her opponent before striking it. She then activated the divine six-petal Hino style, Crimson Cannon Halberd, and then jumped to burn the mantis. She landed smoothly on the ground and then asked about her performance. It was incredible. Nagisa could see why they say Akane was the strongest of the 6 houses in terms of sheer destructive power. The Hino girl felt great. Nothing beats rampaging a little when you're stressed. Isn't that something a dangerous person would say? Nagisa chuckled as she watched the two bickering, and she told Akane she could treat her again if she'd like. But she wasn't that much of a glutton. The surroundings became heavy when Kyuji arrived, greeting them with a good evening. He looked at the girls and mumbled that it was a lovely night. Nagisa couldn't believe it. No one should be able to enter the park with her barrier up. So was this guy inside from the beginning? Then he must have seen that whole fight, and yet he's acting so completely nonchalant. This is wrong. Kyuji told them he was watching them and was amazed. He was surprised that Akane killed the mantis instantly and knew she was an exorcist because of the abilities she showed. Seeing their reactions, he inquired why their faces were so tense. The two couldn't move, overwhelmed by this man's presence. When Shinya stepped forward, Kyuji told him he wasn't interested in men. Likewise, Shinya doesn't have a bit of interest in a shady bastard like him. He will make this quick. He was their enemy, right? He also knew there was someone hiding over there. Hearing that, Yashiro showed up, surprised that he noticed. Well, Shinya lived in a world of slaughter. He was sensitive to gazes. From the moment the mantis was killed, his presence grew stronger. Now it was killing intent. Kyuji laughed because he messed up and apologized to Yashiro. But why the meow did he mention Yashiro's name? He is really an idiot. Yashiro will gonna kill him. Well, Yashiro has no choice now. It's time to get serious. Seeing how they act like child, Shinya wondered what's with these guys. They don't seem like an odd couple, and subordinate doesn't quite seem right either. Whatever their deal is, if they're going to be hostile, he will crush them. While Yashiro regretted coming, Kyuji instructed him to take care of the guy and he would take care of the girls. Yashiro agreed but warned him not to go too rough on them. Kyuji responded that he would try his best and then flicked his finger. Nagisa's barrier was destroyed in an instant, replaced by a new one. Not only that, their spiritual power was gradually draining. Akane declared she would smash through his barrier. Kyuji accepted the challenge and summoned a large group of monsters. Seeing insects made Akane shiver in fear. Kyuji asks if she is still going to break the barrier. But if she did, these little guys would get out too. All she needed to do was just be a good girl and stay put. After all, Kyuji is the one who decides when to lift the barrier. She gets what that means, doesn't she? Chapters end at 8. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you loved this manga. Have a good day.